Hey, Rabun County. Got about 10 minutes, but I thought I'd go ahead and hop on. I'm out of town. It's 10 minutes till 6, and been on a job all week helping out some folks, and they like to work long days, and so ate a can of beanie weenies and an apple, piece of cheese, and a plum. And that's what I've had so far today. It's the second apple, but ran out of time. So I ran downstairs and they had these Granny Smith apples at the front desk. So I grabbed one so I didn't get hangry. Hangry. Uh oh. I see I'm clipping. So I didn't get hangry. Hangry. Sorry, guys. So I didn't get hangry with you guys. Uh, and then after this, I don't know. I may go grab a shower. I may grab a shower and go get a bite, maybe a hamburger. I got some coffee left over. Uh, yeah, I'm out of town, and so you're probably going to hear some echo in the background. I got my spare mic. I had to tote this daggum thing around. I need a smaller one, but you use what you got. I didn't want to bring the studio mics, and this works pretty good. I used it for a number of years to record videos, so I just threw it in the sack with a couple of lights and the video camera. Uh, I had to do a couple other videos this week on the road, and so that's what I'm doing. And the lights are a little low, so you see the reflection in my glasses, but I can only do so much when I'm traveling. And I just wanted to make sure I got with you guys that I was able to get on here. And even though nobody's watched the channel, I'm going to keep going. Maybe somebody will pop up one day. But like I said, building content, learning how to do this stuff. It's not quite 6. So that's why I'm trying to get this apple down for 6 o'clock. So if you tuned in early, you get to watch a fat boy demolish a Granny Smith. And this thing is good. They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I know one thing, it sure make you regular. Got plenty of fiber. Ain't got the mandolin or the ukulele or my little sound machine. I ain't got nothing. Just you and me, baby. Just you and me. Figure maybe if I went to this trouble to come to y'all, maybe God would bless me some viewers. I mean, He's already blessed me richly this week. I'm thankful. I feel like the blessings have shined on me so much, I should have run out and buy a lottery ticket. Woo! How about the coffee? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can adjust those lights without. Nah, you still see it. Boy, you hit a certain angle, it magnifies them. Anyway, I'm sure glad I got the opportunity to sit here with you guys. Shake my coffee. I made it about 4:30. See if the creamer has curdled in it. Mmm. Yeah, there's some chunkies in there. Curdled milk. It's cheese, ain't it? At least that apple to keep me from sitting here thinking about a hamburger the whole time. Mm. Clock on the computer says it is 6 o'clock. So, welcome to the Raven County Rag. Rag is an old term radio operators, ham operators, used to use is where they contact each other on the radio waves and they would exchange information, and they called it chewing the rag. And I just, for now, I'm using the Rabun County rag. Uh, if I don't see anybody pop, if I don't see anybody pop in here at around the 6:30 mark, I'm probably going to bail out. But I am here, and if somebody shows up, I'll stay till 7. I wish I could do something better with these lights, but it ain't going to happen. You're just going to have to deal with the glare if you decide to hang out. Broke my darn rubber band, and I was using it. So now what am I going to do? What would you do? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie it off. Yeah. Yeah. I normally use old bread ties and stuff. I got cables scattered everywhere. it it ain't. I guess it could be easier, and I could just use the camera on the laptop. But I want to try and bring you the highest quality production that I'm capable of on my budget. So here we are, Raven County Rag. I lost my darn notes. What's the date? 12? I've got, guys and girls, I've been working really hard to make sure I read the local paper and bring something of interest to talk about. And, you know, my little old hometown paper, sometimes I ain't got much of anything of interest to talk about. Anyway, welcome, greetings. I'm coming to you from Belmont in the great state of North Carolina. I'm up here on the Catawba River. Um, I've been invited to participate just for this week right now uh, on a power plant demolition. Um, let me take these headphones out. Man, that drives me crazy. I like to listen to see how I sound, but I can't sit there and listen to myself because it gets me, discombobulated. But anyway, yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity to get out here and visit with some of the guys, and it was amazing. I used to work with the company about 5 years ago, and I walked in, and there's a bunch of people still there, machine operators, all kinds of folks, that I've got to get associated with some new folks, and I'm really enjoying getting out here and meeting these people and understanding the objective and being able to help out some people. So it gets me out and about because I guess I'm a people person. My wife says I'm a grumpy old man, but that's her opinion. But anyway, here we are in Belmont, North Carolina. Back home it stays pretty cool. Here today, it got about 92, 93 degrees. Right there on the river, and it's reflecting the water. And man, it got hot for this old fat boy. But we made it through. We made it through. Got a good bunch of guys. Looks like we're gonna get some rain here. Let me see what it looks like in Clayton, Georgia. If somebody was watching, they could key in and show me something. That's not what I want to see. Clayton, Georgia. 75 degrees. Man, you lucky devils. I wish I was at home right now. I really do. Staying in a darn hotel room. It's a nice hotel room. I got set up pretty good. But, I did this for years living on the road, and I'd much rather be in my home. But, it's worth it, man, to get out here and lollygag with these old boys. And I'm just going to play around with these lights for a minute, see if I can make a darn difference. Hell no. You can still see them darn things. What if I flash them off the wall? Would I bounce them off the wall? Would that help? Now I'm too darn dark, ain't I? Oh, well, that didn't work out like I was hoping. I'm just trying to provide y'all eye comfort so you don't see them darn lights reflecting off my glass. I could take my glasses off, but then I can't see what I'm doing. Anyway, we're gonna stick with the glass. Yeah, Belmont, North Carolina. It's just an all around good situation for me, and I'm grateful for the opportunity I have not only just sit here with you, but get out in the field and socialize with some old friends and some new friends, and be productive a little bit. I try to be productive. I mean, I do this little live stream. I do another one on Monday morning at 5 a.m. and I put out 2 videos every week. One is construction safety related, and the other one is attitudinal. This week I talked about what was it? The inner saboteur. It's the idea that we allow bad thoughts, whether from trauma or upbringing or something like that that affects our thought processes. And if we don't address it, it can really just have a negative impact on our life. And so I talked about how to kind of try and eliminate that negativism that you do to yourself, and it's not necessarily what anybody else does, it's what you're doing to yourself. And we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. Hell, I've done it from time to time, falling down that black hole of despair, which was absolutely ridiculous in hindsight. Falling to the dark side, when the bright side, it's a little tough getting there, but once you're there and you learn how to cope, I'm trying to get the old bugs out of the beard. Once you learn how to cope, it's a good thing. And then you look around with people who are in the dark side, and man, it's terrible. You watch them struggle with it. And some of them just can't get out of it. They think that positivity thing is not ever going to work for them. And especially when it's someone you love and care about, and you watching them struggle and all that stuff with all that, and you're like, oh my goodness. Do what you can, save what you can. Anyway, so I got to get this writing bigger. I'm trying to read. I only got one screen on me right now. It's a flat the laptop. Normally I have 2 or 3 screens. I don't have my logo behind me. I'm out of studio, but okay. Let me see if I can enlarge some of this stuff so I can read to y'all. Let's go. Take that up. There we go. All right, here we go. Anyway, who are we? Rabun County RAG. We're a community of like-minded. Let me put a space in here. Y'all don't mind if I edit on the fly, do you? Yeah, it is one word. Like-minded is one word, y'all. It is not 2 words. We're a community of like-minded people with common interests in hunting, fishing, and protecting our families, community, culture, and environment. We exchange ideas, resources, and information. That's what I figure a community is. It does those things. More than that, we're neighbors. We don't have to be neighbors physically, but we can be neighbors, Georgia and Alabama are neighbors. Georgia and North Carolina are neighbors. Georgia and South Carolina are neighbors. Georgia and Tennessee is neighbors. Georgia and Florida is neighbors. We got a bunch of neighbors around. And there's cultural divisions all along the way. And there ain't no reason we can't get along on most things. And we may have some separations and other things, but as long as we're neighborly and we understand that we care about one another, we can take care of each other, send aid and assistance, exchange ideas and resources, just like what I talked about. Got a piece of apple stuck in my tooth. And now I like to take this point in time, talk about good news. Good news, I've talked about my good news. I've been blessed with an opportunity to travel to the wonderful state of North Carolina here on the shores of Catawba River. It's a beautiful river. And opportunity to work beside a bunch of guys who really make a difference in this world. They change the landscape. They prepare for renewal of the country, So that's a wonderful opportunity, and I appreciate it. And I hope you have something to be grateful for this week. If you have mentality to always look for something that you're grateful for. Excuse me, oh, I got the apple done got to me. Uh, if you look for the opportunities, look for the things that make you grateful, find things that you can be grateful for. It changes something in your brain chemistry and allows you to look at a world in a whole different light. Yeah, sometimes it's tough, man, I know. And some people are stuck in a rut, and some people feel like they never getting anywhere, but maybe they're just looking at it wrong. I've been the kind of fella that made plenty of money and go out to dinner, all that stuff. And but as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate the ability to enjoy life without so much money and the headaches that comes along with making a lot of money. And the more money you make, the more responsibility you have normally, unless you hit the lottery. And I would probably still do this even if I hit the lottery. I would probably still do the videos that I make if I hit the lottery. I would still get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning on Mondays to get a live stream up at 5 a.m. just to encourage other people. Whether I have $1 million or whether I have $1 billion, I think I would still do it. I don't know if I had $1 billion, y'all might not know me. Hell, according to the number of viewers I have here, nobody knows me anyway. Try and have a good attitude when you do this for several weeks and not have any viewers and see how that goes. But like I say, I'm learning and I'm going. So find something to be grateful for this week. Find something to be grateful for right now. Anyway, let's see. I've talked about it I've talked about it for a while, probably from the beginning. And I still believe that we need clothing and shoe manufacturers in this country. And I mean good, durable shoes, fine shoes, not the glued together doo-doo that comes from God knows where else in the world where they're paying slave labor and shipping it to the United. Now, it's the people in the United States, the marketing conglomerates. And they're not even manufacturing conglomerates anymore. They're marketing conglomerates. They work deals with Asians, Indonesians, poorest parts of the world. And I understand they have a right to do this manufacturing, and I appreciate it. But they pay them to produce, in my mind, subpar things to sell to the Americans. And then they just use the magic of the TV and advertising to convince you that you should pay $100 for a pair of sneakers that they probably have. $15 in material and $10, maybe probably $5 in shipping. And the rest of it's all marketing and distribution. And you're paying some people are paying hundreds of dollars for a pair of shoes that basically they're $20, $15 shoes. But they put a swish on it or put a guy jumping with a basketball, and everybody has a right to do that. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just it warps people's senses that they may live in government housing and on welfare, but those darn tennis shoes and a 72-inch TV is the thing to do, man. Living in government housing, no, I don't understand it. Maybe it's a good way to be. I don't get it. Anyway, we've had the bear saga. I think it's kind of died down. I haven't got any new reports, but guys, if you live in rural area where bears are known to pass through, make sure you don't leave things out for them to get into your, because a bear is a powerful animal. And if they get a whiff of some good old rotten trash or garbage and they're hungry, they'll tear some stuff up to get fed. They're opportunist feeders. They just eat what they find. They smell, and I read somewhere they could smell up to 25 miles away. Hey, God, think about that. But be careful out there with them bears. Just keep your garbage up. Now, what I do is I walk around the tree line on the property. I got a little bit of green space I cut out for gardens and a little bitty lawn and all that stuff. But I'll walk the tree line and I'll relieve myself in the tree line. And if one of them wanders into the place, I got a little old, I don't know, pump BB gun. I put one pump in. You can see old BB fly. Just go, and I'll shoot them on the hind quarter or something, and make loud noises and kind of agitate them so they don't like to come around anymore. And that's one of the ways I do. Sometimes it works, but hunger will overcome fear. You know that. Hunger will overcome fear. So beware of bears, do's and don'ts. And another thing we really need to stay concentrating on in our communities is the darn litter bugs. And I've talked about it every week, and I'm going to continue to talk about it during the tourist season, is the litter bugs in the national forest. These people see these TV commercials of getting out in the wild, and they get all this REI clothing and stuff, and they look real good, but they have no sense of, they want to pretend that they're nature lovers. And they get out there and they have no real sense of what nature is, and they don't respect it. They'll leave their trash laying around and, walking down there eating one of their fancy Cliff bars or whatever it is. I don't know. It just came to mind, and they'll eat it and drop the wrapper. Relieve themselves right off the trail. Listen, we love you. We want you to be a visitor, but remember, it's our home. And you need to respect our right to keep a clean and safe community to raise our children in. And please come. We want you as a visitor. How many spam calls y'all get, man? It seems like it goes in a big old cycle. And I think I'm in the grand cycle. I get 10 or 12 a day, man, trying to sell me some Social Security or some, here's some people in the hall, some Social Security or some whatever, trying to sell you something all the time. Good Lord. Y'all heard me deal with them. But I wonder how they got our information. We talked about trapping and hunting and all that, and I hadn't looked up what the next season's going to be. I think it might be some kind of bird season. Be the next thing up, probably in September, early October. Dove season, maybe grouse. I'll look that up. But if somebody scrolls through the flipping through the YouTube, and the algorithm for some crazy reason directs you to me for one shot, and you hear it and you hear this, I don't know what the odds of that are, but if you know anything about hunting seasons here in the state of Georgia, let me know what the next season is. I'm trying to remember, what did we talk about last week? Is it open? They only had season for public lands. If you're private, I think there's a different, anyway. So the fishing's still wide open right now. I think the bass are starting to turn on real heavy. it changes, in South Georgia is different than North Georgia. But y'all let me know about that. Gardening. I told you last week I was done with the planting. I've been out of town all week. I had some stuff showing, peeking its little head up, some fresh little planting. So I'm happy about that. I'm anxious to get home and see it. I know I'm gonna get there and see that the grass needs to be cut. Um, I'll probably spend one day this weekend. I'll leave here tomorrow evening or afternoon, late in the afternoon, get home, and I imagine there'll be enough light for me to see the condition of that lawn to upset me till the next morning. I got to get a haircut. How I look? Yeah, I need a haircut. I go to the barber Saturday morning and cut the grass Saturday morning and wash the clothes. The wife is out of town. Uh, I can't wait to get some of them tomatoes. I got a bunch of them planted and I got cages on most of them now. I think I got to build a couple more cages, but I'm ready to see some blooms. After you see the blooms, it ain't long before you get you a tomato or two. Um, Maybe I'll have some and I can show y'all if I get anything worth showing. I don't mind if they deformed or got a little spot on them. Shoot, I'm gonna eat them things anyway. Now, my wife didn't put up a lot of them last year in the freezer. I'm probably gonna have to get down there in the freezer and eat some of those. And I've made some chili out of them. So I was gonna tell y'all the wiffle golf ball story, wasn't I? I made a note on that because I found a lot of humor in it. So, I've been in the demolition business a number of years, a couple decades, and we were demoing this high school in a place called Tucker, Georgia. I don't know if it was Tucker High School or what it was, but the community, the sports, and the culture had changed. And when we demoed it, they had a equipment room. And in this equipment room, it was just like a storage room where they threw all the stuff in there that they've had for years. And it was some golf clubs, cheap little golf clubs and bows and arrows, the old fiberglass bows and arrows and volleyball nets and volleyballs and cricket, not cricket. What do you call that darn game? Croquet. All kinds of stuff like that. And anyway, they had these golf clubs and there was a big old box. It was a huge box and it had, y'all know what a wiffle ball is. You see them in baseballs and softballs. It was the size of a golf ball, but it's made out of plastic and it had holes all in it. And you could hit them things and they wouldn't go very far, but they could show you whether you were hooking or slicing or you were driving them straight. And there was some irons in there and a couple drivers. And I was driving an old Buick. And I said, well, I ain't going to throw this stuff in the dump. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I said, somebody might find some enjoyment out of this. I gave away, they was 10 or 12 of them bows in there. And I think I got one left at the house and maybe a couple boxes of them old Target arrows, just a cheap old arrow. And I got a couple boxes of those at the house. Maybe let the grandkids or son-in-laws or the girls or whoever wants to do it, practice with. Anyway, I rode around with these wiffle balls, these wiffle golf balls in the back of that Buick. And several clubs I used to golf back in the day. And I would be somewhere at the office or in the field and I'd grab a handful of them old wiffle balls and throw them on the grass and just practice swing. And now this has got to do with the Village Idiot story, by the way. And I'll lighten you up on that. And so I had this crew of guys that worked with me. They were They were immigrants, and I don't know whether they were legal, and none of my business. No, I didn't care. If they came to work and did a good job, I was gonna pay them. I was gonna. It didn't matter to me. So uh, I would occasionally go, and these folks lived in this trailer park, and that trailer park had been there for a while, and they had the opportunity. I think one of my buddies actually bought that acreage with all them on there, and he was renting them out to all his workers, his Hispanic workers, Latinos, or whatever you want to call them. And it was a real community in there. Now, it wasn't anything fancy, but they had a real community in there. They took care of each other. They were neighbors, and they shared, and they had grill outs, and they had a little park in the middle. And, trailers would be all the way around it, and there's a little grassy area in the middle, and the children would get out there and play soccer, and the parents would train them, and they would play with them, and some of those little kids ended up playing for, what's the name of that Atlanta soccer team? I don't remember now, but it was, but I don't know if I want to talk about this, but I would go over there, and we drink a few beers and josh around and have a good time, and I got to feeling pretty good, and I opened up the trunk, and there was 10 or 12 of us guys standing around. I was probably the only white guy there. I think I was. The rest of them was my Latino buddies, my Hispanic. I don't know how you call them. They're just my buddies. And I grabbed a couple handful of them wiffle balls on the edge of that park where we was drinking beer and shooting shit. And I started whacking them wiffle balls. And before you know it, they about 6 or 7 of them old boys with one of them old cheap golf clubs whacking away at them old wiffle balls. They must have been 50, 60 of them old wiffle golf balls flying around out there. 7 guys, they just whacking away. And I gave them some lessons, how to stand, how to aim. And I don't know if this is politically correct or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. They had what I'm going to term is their village idiot. And he was a terrific guy, and everybody loved him. He didn't have the ability to hold a job because he just couldn't keep track of what he was doing. He would wander off. He knew he had some boundaries. He always kept his family and friends in sight so that he didn't get lost. But he was the happiest guy I ever met in my life. And grinning, and he was going from one end of that field, and he was walking somewhere else. I don't know where he was going. He might have been going to see Juan's mom and dad. They were like the grandparents of the whole community. He might have been going over there to do something. I don't know. But dadgum, if every one of them boys didn't start taking pot shots at him with them wiffle balls, and he was dodging them things, getting across that field. I don't know if any of them ever hit him, but everybody was laughing, and he was laughing, and he thought it was a game. You know how little kids are, right? You start doing that kind of thing, and they think it's a fun little trick. And eventually he came over, and he was swinging, and we was all laughing, having a good time. And every time I remember that, I have to ask myself, does the village idiot recognize the fact that he's the village idiot? And if he does recognize the fact that he's the village idiot, does he revel in it? Does he eat it up? Does he appreciate that he's the village idiot? They all took care of him. He never wanted for anything. His parents and the whole community. He was always welcome at everybody's home. And this is what they were telling me. He was like a 20-something-year-old, 7-year-old. He was in his late 20s, but he had the mentality of a 5 or 7-year-old. It was happy-go-lucky and always smiling, and he couldn't read it right, but he was happy, and you could say, "Hey, Joey, I don't remember his name. Let's go over here." And he'd go, "Okay, let's go." And they'd go, and he would just come into a house and say, "Hey," and they say, "Come in and eat." They always had something, tortillas and fillings for tortillas and that. And it was wonderful. It was a loving community. And it also makes me think about who we are today as a people. I remember when I was a young man that you could walk over to a neighbor and borrow a cup of sugar, or some bread, or flour, and it was no expectation of you to repay it, but that neighbor sometimes would need something and they would come over, and if you had it, you would share it. I remember things like sugar or dried beans because they didn't get paid and they needed something to feed the kids. And beans, man, I ate so many beans. Plenty of meals growing up was mashed potatoes, pinto beans, and cornbread, and some onion, peppers maybe. At least once a week, more than likely several times a week. And I don't know if it was money mismanagement. You don't know about that stuff. When you're a kid, all you know is that there's something to eat, and your aunt or your mama loves you, and she's going to make sure you got something in your belly before you go to bed. So anyway, that's the story of the wiffle golf balls. Uh, it was a wonderful time, and I look back on it fondly. And I hope you have something you can look back fondly on, something similar, something like that. It's not that the guy was, mentally deficient. It was the fact that they were a community and they took care of each other, regardless of your capacity. Thank you for indulging me while I talk about the wiffle ball story. I got any viewers on here? Somebody sending me something? Ain't got no viewers. Ain't had none. And it's 6:30. I got some stuff here. Now, I went through the local newspaper and there didn't seem to be anything that had changed. So I did read that the ramshackle that happened this past weekend in my hometown, Clayton, looked like it had been a big success. And they also had the Foxfire thing going on this weekend, and that seemed to be a big success. If you want to see some interesting stuff and you're up in the Clayton area, go by the Foxfire Museum. For those of you who don't understand maybe the term Foxfire, in the Appalachian Mountains, when the trees fall and rot, the standing stumps, as I believe, will get some kind of mycelium or fungi in them, and that fungi glows in the dark. And over the years, they defined it as foxfire. And the Foxfire Museum is an exposition of how things used to be back before we had electricity and telephones, and how people lived, and the kind of things they did, from spinning wool to making cloth to, I think they got a water wheel, old hand tools, spinning wheels, kitchens, old kitchens, and have demonstrations on how they did things. So that's a pretty cool thing. So if you're ever up in the Clayton area and you want to expose your children to some old ways and we might have to use those again someday, you know. Never know. If you look at the history of civilization, it ain't always been civilized. And it goes through cycles. Anyway, that's what I say about that. We got this stream that runs through town. It's called Stecoa, Stekota, Stecoa Creek. And they've got a cleanup going on for Stecoa Creek on the 14th. Well, today's the 12th. Is that right? No, today's 13th. Today is the 12th. Tomorrow will be the 13th, and Saturday will be the 14th. So they have a cleanup there. So if you're in the Clayton area, if you're a Rabun County citizen and you want to participate in the cleanup of a stream that means so much to a community, it's put on by either a historical or a gardening outfit. But check it out. Also, Tallulah Gorge State Park. They have a ton of summer activities. Uh-oh, hang on a minute. Let's see if I got us a hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, good evening. This is Genesis from Home Security Promotions. I'll keep this really quick.
Hello.
We're reaching out to homeowners in your area to let them know
Hello.
about our state-of-the-art wireless home security system. Now
Hello.
available with no upfront cost. It includes a free, durable
Hello.
outdoor security camera and professional installation, all designed to help
Hello.
keep your home and family safe. So, are you the homeowner?
Hello.
I am sorry, I did not get that. Can you please say that again?
Hello. Oh, they hung up on me. I got them not long ago. That old AI got hung up. It was like a short circuit. It was going, and we are, and we are, and we are, and we are. I don't know if that little trick done it or not, or if it just flipped out on me. But it was kind of interesting. Those guys drive me crazy. I get 10 or 12 of them calls a day. It's insane, especially on your business phone. Good Lord. Anyway, where was I? Oh, check out Tallulah Gorge State Park. It's a natural wonder. They've got tons of walking trails. They've got activities. They've got some. It is a real nice center, and I forget what they call it, but some kind of yarn center or something like that. But it's got wonderful exhibits in it, and it's great for young kids and adults alike. So if you want a place to go, check out Tallulah Gorge State Park. Now, us who live in the area, we've been through it, and some of us several times. Some of us make 2 or 3 trips a year just to enjoy our natural wonders. But if you're ever up that away, look up Tallulah Falls State Park. And we also have the highest state park in Georgia, and that's Black Rock Mountain State Park. It's another place, got a lake. It's got a multitude of walking trails, and some of them are kind of tough. Now, you better get you a map, figure out which one you want to take. But they've got cabins you can rent. I don't know about Tallulah, but I know Black Rock does, and they're way up on the mountain, and you can look out a long way. It's beautiful up there. Call and see if you can get reservations. Sometimes it's difficult. I stayed there a couple times before I moved into the area. We would have family reunions or things like that, and it was nice. Uh, this time, let's see. I mean, I got any listeners on here? No comments, no nothing, man. No concurrent viewers, no likes, no nothing. So I'm going to wrap this thing up because I think I need a hamburger or something. Anyway, this is where we talk about things for sale. If you got something for sale, listen, you got something for sale. This is as this channel grows, this would be a great place for you to post in the comments something that you may have for sale that some of your neighbors could use. Let me see who this is. Darn old Facebook notification. I quit making friends. You make a friend, then all of a sudden, every time they post something, you darn get a notification. It's like here getting on this internet. You go on here in the room and try and do it. They want you to give them your name, your address, your email address, and all this stuff. And I stopped in at the front desk where I started this live stream and asked for the password. And I told them, I said, if you go on the other way, they want you to give all that information. I just know y'all going to bombard me with 300 emails a day talking about how great your facility is. And I just can't bear it. I'm just getting to the point where I'm sick of getting notifications. You give them your email, they send you 1,000 different things, and then they turn around and sell it to somebody else, and they send you 1,000 things, and then you get people calling you, man. Hey, we got a new home security system. Wouldn't you like to be a part of that? We can get it to you for free. Or Medicaid A. Do you have Medicaid A and B? We can get you $100 cash and some free groceries. Sign up today. Let me put a live agent on the phone with you. And then Habib gets on there, or Danish, or one of them cats trying to say. You can hear all their co-workers in the background of some boiler room. It sounds like about 50 of them in there saying the same thing. Oh, what's Habib is? You're like, man, why you bothered me? He said, what you mean? Anyway, I'm going to wrap this thing up. It is 6:45. I'm not going to go the whole distance. I don't have any viewers, and I'm hungry, and I'm out of town, and I still got to get a shower. I got to pack all this stuff up and get ready to roll out of here in the morning. So I'm going to start winding this thing down. Like I said, if you got something for sale, one of your neighbors might need it. They might have something to trade. They might give you cash. Whatever you want to do, you can post it in the comments and maybe come to a mutually beneficial agreement between you and a neighbor or somebody down the road, whatever you want to do. I know I still want these two things that I'm after, and that's a Harrow disc from a disc Harrow, one that's pretty big. I don't know. I'm going to make me a pan out of it, like a shallow wok, and build me a metal frame, and I'm going to try cooking on that thing on an open fire. I'm building a set of stairs on the deck, off the deck there with a landing on it. And I thought I might build me a table and put some, I don't know, stone or something, or maybe some concrete and just, or sand or something, and make that where I can build a fire on it, and put that pan across some bricks or a rack or something, and sear off some steaks or pork chops or cook. There's this channel that I watch, and it's called Route 9, Route Nueve. And it's these Hispanic guys. I know I've talked about it. Y'all should check them out. They cook El Campo is what they call it at the camp. And everything they cook is cooked on wood, and they either use a big flat pan, metal pan, or clay pots. And that they always have that disc harrow. And they've welded some handles on it and filled the hole in the middle and grind it down. It's real smooth, and got it seasoned and like a big cast iron pan. And I'm really attracted to that. It'd be a good thing to do from time to time. You got company over, you can go out in the yard. You don't have to smoke up the house and things like that. But that's what I need that Harrow disc for. So if you've got a Harrow disc, I don't care. It ain't got to be brand new. It could be something out of a dang scrap pile. I may just find something on the job site somewhere. I don't know, but that's what I'd like to have. And the other thing I'm still looking, and I see the hay coming up for sale now. I don't want fresh hay. I mean, I'll take it, but if you got leftover hay from last year's harvest, or bales that are 2 or 3 years old that are back of the barn and they're just stacking up back there, you can't feed out on them, or even if it's if you're running a dairy or a horse farm, and it's shavings from the uh, barn, I'll take those. I'll come get them in my pickup truck and put them out into a pile and compost them, and give them a year or two, and mix them in with the wood chips I get, and just use them to mulch the garden. That's what I need. And the no-till, I might like it. I don't know. I'll know more I'll probably know more next year if I get the mulch and keep the weeds down. Because right now, I go out there and mess around with the hoe, but with these new sprouts, I got so much stuff planted in there. Getting there with a hoe, I'm gonna be cutting down basil or something. Going in and cut the wrong thing, tear it up. But if you get out there with a hoe like the old farmers did, and you just go out there for a little while, a couple times a week, you can keep the weeds beat down, and you don't have to get out there and break your back with a darned old tiller. Um, anyway, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. All right, boys and girls, I went to 49 minutes, and it's been a real pleasure. I'm going to start shutting this thing down. But words of endearment before we go. Look for something every day that you're grateful for, and you'll find it. You look hard enough, you'll find it. Have a grateful day and a grateful week, and we'll see you next Thursday at 6 o'clock, whether I'm at home or on the road. I intend to make this a regular thing, and maybe we'll start getting some participants. It would make it a lot easier on me if there's 2 or 3 people agitating me, where I can make comments on something they say to me, try and get me off guard or whatever. I'd appreciate that, and I'd enjoy it. But anyway, have a grateful day and a grateful week, and we'll see you next Thursday at 6 o'clock. And I'm going to act like wimpy